Hello, everybody. Sorry for the late start. uh, yeah, but he's not streaming while I'm busy. Let's go. Hey, nice. I feel like it's always tough. Either Saturday or Monday. Can never catch everybody on the same day. Either you're busy one day or you're busy, or you're busy one day and not busy the other day. But yeah. I'm just saying flying paper. But hello everybody. Hope you're all doing good on this Monday. I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but I'm pretty sure today is, what is it? It's civic holiday for us here in Ontario, but don't know if anybody else has holidays. But if you are having a holiday, well, hope you're getting a good break. If it's not a holiday for you, then well, hopefully the Monday ends soon and you get a good break afterwards. But hello Lynx, hello Crazy Dash, Chaos Chameleon, Killzoon, and also hello Jaren. Thank you Jaren for holding down the fort while I get ready and rush over here. But yeah, everybody, I guess thank you. Everybody thank Jaren for just keeping you guys all company and everything. But I guess we'll jump right into it since we're starting a little bit later than usual. But yeah, hello everybody, welcome to our Monday live stream. If this is your first time joining us, well, hello and welcome. My name is Josh. I'm going to be the host for today's live stream. If you guys don't know, typically I mostly stream on Mondays. Faye usually is the one streaming on, oh wait, I stream on Saturdays, but Faye streams on Monday. But we're switching it up a little bit just because I'm gonna be busy in the next, maybe in 2 weeks I'm gonna be a bit busy. So yeah, we're having a little bit of a Josh double feature where it's just me back to back. So this weekend I streamed yesterday as well as today, and then this upcoming Saturday and Monday it's gonna be me again. So hopefully you guys enjoy the Josh double feature. But yeah, if you guys don't know who we are Wing Canvas. We're a YouTube channel, but we're also a school, an online school of education. So if you want to improve and level up your art skills, definitely check out our website. And if you'd like personalized feedback on your artwork or portfolio guidance, that is exactly what we do in our mentorship and VIP programs, which will get you started and kind of set up with some classes. And if you want to support us further, you can also check us out on Patreon, where with just a few bucks, you can get perks such as monthly live class recordings, art files, members-only chat and critique, as well as exclusive members-only badges and emotes. And if you want to follow us further, you can follow us on Discord and on Instagram. Discord's kind of like the best place. It kind of covers everything. But if you want to just follow us and see the kind of work that we upload with a few maybe monthly announcements, then Instagram works just as well. And if you didn't know, we stream twice a week to help you learn art fundamentals. But if you want accountability, personalized feedback, and career guidance, becoming a member is probably the best place to start. And yeah, and also, because we're running a little bit late, I didn't get a chance to gather the art challenge images. But just a quick reminder that this month, you know, every month we have a new art challenge, and this month, for the month of August, we are doing epic environments. So that's why you'll kind of realize and notice that all of the upcoming streams have some kind of environment or background or perspective related kind of topics, and that's because our monthly challenge is epic environments. So we're trying to tie in our live stream topics with our art challenge topics whenever we can. So that this way you get to learn about it on our live streams and get a chance to participate and maybe make something that's related to the Epic Environment Monthly Art Challenge theme. And who knows, if you submit something, we always love to give a bit of love back to the community, so we give a bit of shout out to the community on our live streams. So unfortunately, didn't get to do it yesterday or today, but I will definitely do my best to give you guys a bit of a slot and shout out window for the upcoming Saturday stream. And yeah, Look at Jared calling in all the things in chat. Tomorrow is photo day. Dang, okay. Learning about roughs and combining multiple references was enlightening. Oh, cool, nice. Glad that was able to help you out a bit. We've got some epic submissions already. Ooh, I'm very excited. I haven't had a chance to take a look at them, but definitely will take a look at them sometime this week before the live stream on Saturday. Gives me a reason to look at surrealism. Oh, cool. Nice. I feel like that kind of surrealist perspective is always going to be neat. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, we are doing 1 point perspective for today's topic, and because everything was so tight, I was only able to put out a post yesterday right after the live stream. But here are the options that I put out, and if you guys didn't know, every week before our live stream starts, we put out a poll asking you guys what topic to kind of work with in tandem to the already scheduled live stream. So I put it out there if you guys wanted me to draw a garage band, some high school lab, a Greek hall, and a kitchen, and you guys voted for Greek hall. Now, I kind of actually wanted GarageBand to win. As you can see, that's the one I selected. I'm actually kind of surprised that well, I'm like surprised but also not surprised that Greek hall won, because I feel like Greek hall is like, it could be like really cool. Maybe it's in theme with Odyssey coming out right now, that everybody wants to vote for Greek hall. Maybe that's a reason why. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing a Greek hall themed drawing for today, and yeah, maybe if your chosen theme didn't win today, maybe I'll try to remember it, and if we do a similar topic down the road in the future, we'll do like another one. Everyone watching the Odyssey, yeah, I'm trying to get tickets. The goal is hopefully the tickets come out tomorrow, and then me and my sister are going to be like targeting whichever one comes first. But yeah, we're going to Scotiabank. Jaran, for anybody in Toronto, if you want a good IMAX, you go usually for Scotiabank downtown, or you go to Vaughan, the Vaughan one in Vaughan, I guess. But yeah, we're going to be doing Greek hall. And before we tackle the actual drawing topic itself, I will be kind of going over roughly 1 point perspective, how it works, how to get it set up, and we're going to be using it to kind of elaborate and draw our scenery. Now this one, I might grab only a few references, because I think mostly for today, with 1 point perspective, it's pretty technical, I guess you could say. So yeah. We're gonna be drawing like maybe like a Hades theme type of environment with like pillars and maybe like some fire cauldrons, torches or something, and maybe like a big hall with a statue in the middle. I don't know. This is me spitballing, but I think I'm just gonna kind of go for it, and whatever we come up with, that's what we'll stick with, because mostly we'll lean in on the lesson for today. It was still excellent. Oh, you're one of the lucky ones who were able to catch a screening. That's awesome. Yeah, hopefully I can catch a screening too. Okay, so, oh, hello, hey Miro, glad you're able to hear. I feel like you guys I'm starting to see a consistent group of people that show up for these live streams of mine, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so for 1 point perspective, a very quick overview on how it works, how to set it up. So I'm gonna write it here, how to set up 1 point perspective. How to set up 1 point perspective. Well, maybe divide it up over here. So on the left, we'll have a little bit of like a point-by-point breakdown, and then on the right, we'll have kind of the actual demonstration to walk you through how it goes. In case this is for anybody who's never ever heard of one-point perspective before, never learned about it, hopefully this is a way to introduce you to it. Also, maybe, hopefully it doesn't scare you away from perspective, because I know a lot of people sometimes can view perspective as being very challenging and very, maybe like hard to pick up, but I would encourage that, like, try it every now and then, even if you don't understand it. Try it, maybe give it a few months, try it, and if it still doesn't click, give it a few months again, try it again, because you never know. Art is one of those weird things where you kind of need just that, a little, maybe something, and then it clicks, and once it clicks, you're ready. So, I would say keep coming back to it every now and then. Oh, what I would like to know are the steps between one-point geometric and applying perspective to organic objects. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question, Killzone. The Josh Kopigans recruitment. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, though, but that'd be nice to see. Let me see. Like Josh streams, they're always super chill. Oh, well, thank you, Elise. Or Elise Lou. Okay, so one. We need to figure out where the horizon line is. And the horizon line is basically your eye level. So the way I like to think about it is, imagine there's a giant window in front of you. So let's get a... We'll actually fill this in. Maybe we'll go for like a very yellow box. Or maybe we'll go with blue, because I did say window. I feel like usually when we think of a window, we think of like a blue screen. And just gonna make that a new layer. Yeah, I'm gonna call this window. You can follow along with me if you would like. And then in front of this window, this is gonna be you, basically. You, the viewer. And let's draw us, the viewer. I'm just gonna make us a red person right over here. And let's go get a brush. Move it over here. Just a simple drawing, nothing too fancy. We'll give them like ears, really quick ears. Maybe it's like an alien. We'll make a little fun kind of person. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here with this. But let's give him some hair. It's an alien dude with a hair. And here's the neck. And then here's the body. So imagine that this is you, the viewer. My brain must stay protected. But I fear it would break away. Fisheye perspective is sick. Oh yeah, that is really cool. Fisheye perspective stuff is always neat to play around with. Okay, so here we have our basic kind of alien person. Maybe I'll kind of write it in. We'll write it in like. Excuse me. I'm gonna write it here so we remember you, the viewer. Okay, so imagine this is you, the viewer, and wherever you are standing, this is where the horizon line is. So I'm gonna also draw it here. I'm gonna put in like a slightly orangey color. Oops. Maybe let's shrink it down a little bit. Yeah, here. Alright, so here we have you, the viewer. Oh, thank you for all the blessings. For all the blessings. So here is our little character over here, and you can kind of see that I've also drawn a line for the horizon line here. So this line right here, this is what we call the horizon line. This is and the reason why I also said that this is the eye level is because the horizon line meets up to your eye level. So if you are standing and looking at the window down here, guess what? Then your horizon line is going to be way low to the ground. And you're going to be looking up at things. If you're standing above the window and you're seated like over here, or standing or positioned in a way that's higher over here, then guess what? Your horizon line is way high and you're looking down on things probably. And then if you're situated right in the middle, then everything goes right to the middle of to the drawing. So this is kind of more even level kind of viewing. So this is kind of maybe the best way to think about horizon lines, is that if you're kind of figuring out like, oh, I don't know where the flattest point or the horizon line of my drawing is going to be, think about like where you would be sitting in this imaginary window. And the window is kind of like your snapshot of the room. So this window here is kind of like where you're cropping in your images. It's where you're cropping in your drawing. This is where everything is contained inside of. So maybe I'll write that around the windows. This is your cropping. I'll write that kind of like here. Maybe put in like some blue lines to outline it. First, it's like taking a picture. It's like taking a picture with the blue lines. So horizon line, that is the level line. I'll write this like maybe here. This would be like 1. And then 2 is this. So maybe I'll color code these. Oh, maybe I won't color code it completely, but yeah. Alright, so 2, figure out what your horizon line is, and 2, think about what you want to take a picture of or draw, and what's inside of that container. What are you drawing inside this picture? I know it sounds easier said than done, but I think sometimes we always forget. Having an idea of like your kind of containment or your kind of what's in your composition is always a good place to start. And then your third one is thinking about your vanishing point. So 3, what is your vanishing point? Now the vanishing point, this is the crucial part. This is the part that you need in order to draw 1-point perspective or 2-point or 3-point or even the fishbowl lens. So in this case, with our person right here, imagine this person was standing down a really long hall, a really large hall. Then the vanishing point, and this person is looking right down the middle of the hall. So the vanishing point in this case, for our purposes, is going to be right over here. This line that intersects the horizon line, that is our 3-point perspective. So maybe I'll make this one in like, I don't know, teal. That's our 1-point perspective. Hello, Yamu's facility. And then, so now that we have our notes here, notes, and then this is our 1-point. This is where the actual drawing part comes in. So now you want to figure out where your box is. So once you have, you know, the limits of your space, once you have the horizon line, and once you have the vanishing point, the next thing you want to do is figure out like where do you want to draw the objects. So it's like, whoops, that's a terrible 4. Where is your object? Is your object. So in this case, you might kind of wonder, it's like, oh, okay, maybe I could put, I'm going to lower the opacity of my viewer, my person. I'm also going to lower the opacity a little bit of my 1-point perspective there. While making dinner. Oh, nice, nice. So in this case, I want to put a box maybe right over here, down in the bottom. So we'll use kind of like a red color, just so this stands out a little bit. So whenever I'm thinking about 1-point perspective, I'm always thinking about where do I want the object. Is it right in front of me? Is it right above my character? Or viewer? I should say maybe viewer, not character. Is it below the viewer? Is it above the viewer? Is it to the left? Is it to the right? Just to think in simple kind of 4-directional placements for now. So for the very first time you ever do 1-point perspective, I would say try to put your character or your viewer, oh, whoops, give me a sec. Okay, I didn't realize I merged it with a lower opacity. Okay, so yeah, once we kind of have all of this set up, then what you're going to try to figure out and ask yourself is like, okay, is this sitting above, below, left, or right of the viewer? So not any characters inside of the scenery, but this viewer right here. So remember this little red-orange guy that we drew right here. This is you. You're kind of looking into this window. Where is the object in relationship to you, the viewer, who's not inside of this picture? So if it's right in front of you, and maybe a little bit below, we're going to put it like right over here. Whoops. So this, oh, I get us. It keeps switching back. Okay, so this is our square. It'll be situated right over here, right in front of our person. Maybe I'll put it below the viewer. And now we have the position of it. We need to figure out where is this box, kind of how is it shrinking? How is it getting further away from our character? So imagine this is like a treasure box type shape, or it's a cardboard box. Maybe let's say cardboard box. This is a cardboard box that is sitting right in front of the viewer, very close to the window. And it's not super long, it's not super large or anything, but we still need to figure out how is it going further away from us, because that's kind of what's happening with what we see in the world in front of us. It's always disappearing and vanishing towards the horizon line. So that's why it's important to know where the horizon line is, map out where your vanishing point is, because it tells us where things are quote-unquote vanishing towards. So in this case, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these corners that are at the very top of the box, and I'm going to figure out where it's vanishing towards. So I'm going to take these lines and connect it to the horizon line. And it's basically as simple as that. You're just grabbing these corners and connecting it to the vanishing point right in the middle of my person's face. Because remember, that's kind of where the horizon line is. That's also where vanishing points can sit on. Vanishing points can only sit on the horizon line. They can't be floating or anywhere else. Now that I know the trajectory of where the box is going towards, now I got to figure out how long this box is. So this triangle, everything here inside of this triangle is up for us to determine. So now I get to determine how long I want the box to be. Do I want the box to be up here and right here? Do I want the box to be a little bit long and right here? Do I want to be very long and go very close to the horizon line? So I'm going to say, like, you know what? I want it to be right over here. Why is it crooked? I'm even holding down the shift line. Okay, so if I put it there, that's me saying this is how long I want the vanishing point to be. And to show you kind of the final version of it, this is roughly the shape of the box afterwards. So if I grab the red color and I color it inside of the blue line, this kind of hopefully shows you the shape and containment of everything that we just drew. So if I take away the viewer and the 1 point, this is the box. We just drew a pretty three-dimensional box and shape for this scenery, and it feels quite believable, and that's because it's going to the proper horizon line and the proper vanishing point. So we could do the exact same thing, but this time we do it for maybe like a different position of a box. So we could do literally the exact same thing. So I'm going to grab a box, and this time, remember, the first thing we ask is, where is your object? So you always go back to this. Where is your object? Well, the object is this time maybe above my character. So I'm going to draw this rectangle shape. Maybe I put it, we'll still put it like right in front of my character. And then we'll do the same thing. Mark the corners. Actually, let me just mark that, and I'm just gonna quickly blow my nose. I'm sorry. I don't know why I've been like sniffling. I'm not like sick or anything, but I don't know why it's so much sniffling. So same thing, gonna go to that 1 point perspective to the middle of the, okay, I guess in this case it wasn't really in the middle of the cross, but close to the middle of the cross. So again, this tells me how the trajectory, the path in which this box is shrinking towards. And once I can see where it's shrinking towards, I can then mark where I want the box and how large I want this kind of cardboard box to be. So again, I'm just going to draw a straight line all the way across. I'm going to get my eraser, and I'm just going to lightly erase these trajectory lines so that you guys can still see it, but now it's no longer like official in terms of like, this is what I'm working with. So again, just gonna very quickly maybe shade in the box over here. And again, if I take away the person, here we have, again, 1 point perspective, but with two objects. Now, I'm going to show you like a third one, because right now we've just been drawing the tops and bottom of our boxes, and actually this might be a very good kind of introduction to another point about perspective, and that is... So you kind of have to think about what you see in terms of relationship to the horizon line. So you'll notice that we've drawn two boxes right now, and I've just been asking you guys, do we see it above the person, the viewer, or do we see it below the viewer? And you'll notice that if anything is below the viewer, so below the horizon line, we will always see the tops of. And this is anything that's smaller or shorter than the horizon line, then we will see the tops of those objects. If an object is above the horizon line, then we will always see the bottom of that object. So think about like pillars, or maybe not pillars, like arches, for example. Arches, we see the bottom of those curves. We see the bottom of the arches. And probably it's because most of the times it's taller than us, the person that is looking at the scenery. So that's why we see the bottom of those arches. If we're looking at cardboard boxes or bookshelves that are below our eyes, then that is why we always see the tops of them. And then if there's a bookshelf that is eye level, the same height as us, then that is why we don't see the tops or the bottom of it. We just see it as a flat box. So this is kind of how perspective works and generally how it's all done. So that's why I'm going to show you another one. This is not going to make it too much more complicated, but we're going to follow, again, the same steps, the same principle. We're now going to say, instead of the box being above or below, we're just going to put it to the side a little bit. I'm going to have it below the horizon line, so below the viewer's eye level, and we're going to put it to the bottom right. So I'm just going to draw another simple rectangle. And yes, just like Jaren was saying, it's basically just connecting the dots. And I feel like once you kind of realize drawing is just a lot of connecting the dots, drawing becomes a lot easier. So, oh right, blow my nose. Give me a sec. Gonna come back. Just gonna blow my nose real quick. Oh yeah, there's this vote. Jaren put out a vote here. Let's see. How well do you know 1 point perspective? This is my first time. I've drawn it a few times. I know all the perspective. Yeah, I feel like that kind of makes sense. Like the whole... I feel like most people probably would know perspective, but I always assume there's always a handful. Because I never knew about perspective, believe it or not, until university. Or until like grade 12, but it wasn't really taught to me until university. So there's always a chance, you know, you never know. Like even for me, someone who went to art school learned proper perspective in university, but it was introduced to me in high school in grade 12. By the way, the tip about walking away from something and coming back to it, absolute gold. Well, glad that you're using it to your advantage. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not sick. I think it's just like, it's just there. But I'm not sick or anything. Even though maybe I might sound like maybe I'm sick. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna connect the dots, but this time, here's the only difference with this one that you might notice is that I marked all 3 of these dots, and that's because if it's an object that is not perfectly in the middle, so if the object is not perfectly aligned with our viewer, then these boxes, like this box over here, if it's off to the side, then it is going to, we're actually also going to see the sides of this box. So these ones, we just see the tops or bottom. This one, we'll see the top and the side of the box. So that's why we need to mark the 3 dots instead of just 2. And that is because this one, it is off to the side. It is no longer aligned with my character. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take the dots and the lines and connect them to the... connect it to the vanishing point. And then I'm going to, again, now with these triangles, I can see how far and where these the sides of the box will be going to, like what is the limit of it. And I'm like, okay, you know what, this one, I wanted to make it a very thin box. So I'm going to have it be here, like this. And you'll notice that once I determine one side, so I was like, okay, I'm going to draw the sides of the box first. Once I drew that in, wherever the line... my blue line intersected with these triangles, that is where I connect the other side. So if you're wondering, how did you know the other side started up here? Why not over here or down here? Well, it's wherever it connects with the blue triangle. That's where I draw it in. Yeah, so that's kind of it, basically. So now I'm going to do the same thing as I did for the other ones. Just going to quickly kind of just shade it in. Draw the other one. Okay, so there we go. Now we got 3 boxes, and I'm not going to draw it for the other ones, but essentially the other positions, if I put it up here or here or here, it will be the same as this one. So I'm going to write down just like the notes for it, so that you guys can quickly, so that you guys can see it. And by the way, if you're wondering like, oh Josh, like these notes, will I get them? Yeah, and you can. So these notes will always be posted on Discord after the stream ends. But the demo image will only be shared to Discord and Instagram. But if you want the notes only get shared to Discord and not Instagram. So this is hopefully a chance for you to go check out our Discord. But if anything, if you don't have Discord or are unable to, you can always screenshot these and take notes of this if you want. Let me see. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, once you find the triangle or the placement of it, so one, find where the object is. Find where the object is, and in this case it's just a square. The next thing you want to do is mark the corners. So to mark the corners. And then connect the corners to the vanishing point. 3. Connect corners to vanishing point. And then 4, this is figure out how large you want the object to be. Figure out how large you want the object to be. So this is basically cutting it off, cutting out where you want things to be. Yeah. I remember the art teacher making us take a picture of things with boxes as reference material and then drawing them as homework. Oh, that's kind of cool. Your voice changed. Did it change? I don't know. Maybe it's just like after I blew my nose and everything, it's changed a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of it, I would say, for 1 point perspective. And I would say that if this is your first time ever drawing 1 point perspective or learning about perspective, I would say give this a shot, give this exercise a shot. Just follow along with what I did, do it step by step, and memorize it and get comfortable with it, get super used to it. Once you have it kind of understood as to how boxes are made, how they're constructed, you basically know how a good prism box is supposed to look like, how the rules and principles of a kind of an object should be. So yeah, and now we'll get into the actual demo of today, which is drawing a room. And you guys voted for a Greek room, so I'm going to show you how I would set up a room. So this was more of like how perspective works. I'm going to show you how to set up a room for 1 point perspective. So that's gonna take a little bit of time. So give me a sec. Just gonna set it up. Let's see. I'm just gonna call this lesson, kind of like a lesson. And so now we have our actual demo itself, and I'm going to, let's see, trying to think of like what I want. Okay, so maybe I'll write down the general maybe path for how we're gonna tackle this. So 1, come up with ideas, and I usually like to write the ideas for theme, ideas for the theme. Ooh, maybe instead of a Greek statue, we can have like a skull. Like imagine someone coming down a hall. So I want a kind of a dim hall. So we got a Greek hall. That's what you guys voted for. Although I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought you guys would really vote for Garage Band or something, but I guess I was wrong. So Greek hall is what we're going for. I kind of wanted it to be a spooky, okay, maybe not spooky, but like worn down hall. Like it's a worn down hall. It's seen some fights, maybe. Definitely gotta get like the pillars up there, and we gotta get some like hanging cauldrons. I don't know what they're called, you know, like not the cauldrons, but they're kind of like the dishes with just like fire on them. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hanging fire. If someone comes in who's like, what is hanging fire, Josh? Yeah, you know, how about a non-human skull? Yeah, I was thinking like a monster or some kind of creature skull. We could probably do something like that. It's always the skull. Why are we so evil? Yeah, GarageBand would have been perfect. Oh, that would have been really cool. Maybe 2 point perspective. If we do 2 point perspective, I want to do the GarageBand. Maybe I won't give you guys a vote. We'll just go for the band next time. This is cool, and I'm a Rodney fan. What is Rodney? Is that a band? Is that a character? Never heard of that, but enlighten us, get the feels. What is Rodney? Oh, brazier. Is it a brazier? I think so. That sounds correct. Brazier. Yeah, kind of like a brazier, but okay, it's not really brazier. Here, it's this thing that looks like this. It's just a hanging bowl. And then there's like fire in there. This thing. Anybody know what this is called? Like what is this? That thing. But brazier also as well. I will say brazier. Braziers are cool too. We'll have a brazier. A sconce. Is a sconce something as well? I don't know. Roman band hang out in their own old hall. Oh, that sounds cool too. Also, if you guys have anything that you want me to include in the drawing or in the haul, let me know, and I can try to fit it in. Oh, Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Ah, okay. Did you guys ever watch that movie? I never... Diary of a Wimpy Kid was a little bit, like, past my... like reading time in a sense. Like it was just, it kind of came out after me, so my sister grew up more with it. I did not grow up with it, but I kind of funny how there's that the kid from the movie is now all grown up. The kid that played the Diary of the Wimpy Kid is all grown up now, and then he I feel like his whole online identity is that song from the meme, or the song that he sings in the movie. It's like that becomes like a meme. I watched the movies. I also never watched the movies either, but I like know of it. Worn down halls, seen some fights, pillars, brazier, maybe some, and then we can have a creature skull. Creature skull? Should it be a skull? Okay, you guys kind of vote. Should it be a creature skull or a kind of a, I don't know, like a statue of a warrior? So one or the other. An alabaster bowl? Is it? Someone found out what it is? Okay, yeah, I did not know that that's what it's called. Alabaster bowl? What? Alabaster bowl. Is that actually what it is? Like the ones that hang and have fire on them. Oh. Burton. It's a ceiling light. Oh, interesting. Okay. So apparently it's called an alabaster bowl? Ceiling light, maybe? I don't know. Ceiling light. This is what I see on Google that it's saying. Ceiling light. You know, it's kind of funny. I actually have an alabaster bowl. I use it for shaving. Is that bad? I use it for mixing the shaving cream in. Is that blasphemous to use it for that? A creature skull is cool. Skull because I'm emo. That's a hard choice. I would enjoy both. Maybe we could have like the foot of it, and then maybe it'll still be a sculpture, but it'll have like the foot of the remains of the warrior, and maybe like the skull next to it. I don't know. A minotaur skull. Ooh, that one's cool. I like that suggestion. Minotaur skull. Balrog. Yeah, the horns. I think like something with horns would be cool. Iconic paying for your parents' sins. Dang. Okay, I think that's a good amount of things to like include and think of for our ideas. If you guys don't know, or if this is your first time joining us, this is typically how I like to set up and brainstorm for my ideas. So if you guys missed, like for example, the background stream from yesterday, this is kind of the notes that we were doing before we even started the demo itself. And then when we got to the actual demo, same thing, wrote a lot of things down, gathered some reference images, did some roughs, and then tackled the painting. So this is kind of my method for doing it. I don't think like every artist does it, but I will say that probably every artist has some kind of process that's somewhat maybe like similar to it. It might not be the exact same beat for beat, but a lot of artists do like planning, do some research, and then also gather some reference images, do some roughs. So when you put it all together, it probably will look something similar. Oh, Cerberus skull. I feel like Cerberus would be cool too. That's not too bad. I was thinking Cerberus, but I feel like we see Cerberus a lot, so I don't know. I feel like Minotaur is a good variety, but maybe if we have time, I can add in like a Cerberus skull as well. Guy, he needs his dog. Dogs? I don't know. Yeah, do they count as multiple versions, or are they all singular? Okay, so I guess now would be a good time to look for like, I don't know, Greek architecture. Let me see. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, probably I guess I'm looking for like older things. Now, because we're drawing something, nothing too like over the top or anything like that, we'll probably just stick to the good old pillars. So I think I'm just gonna grab this. Just some pillars on the side. So here we have ideas. 2 is for research and references. I guess in this case, research and references, they're the same thing. But sometimes in terms of research, it would be like maybe reading into things. I know, well, reading. But yeah, it would be like reading into things, maybe figuring out like how things are done back in the day. And yeah, or just reading up on like the influence or kind of why things look the way that they are. Doing a little bit of just like extra research. This is a pretty cool sculpture. I wonder if these are real. If these are real, it's pretty cool. I mean, it looks kind of real. Okay, here we go. Got ourselves some references. And then the next one we gotta do is we gotta do some roughs. Now, for the roughs, I'm going to show you kind of how I like to approach it for environments like this where I would need kind of perspective. So here's notes. Here is the references. Okay, and then you'll notice I'm always labeling and isolating and organizing my layers. Cerberus is just one dog in my opinion. I feel like there's a pretty good debate right here. Are they considered like separate, or are they considered just one dog? But I don't know. Okay, so this one is our thumbnails and sketches. So this was kind of brought up yesterday. Is like, is there a difference between thumbnails and roughs? And I think for me, roughs is more of like an overarching term. It's more of the umbrella term. Thumbnails is the specific thing that you do when you draw in the rough stage. So the rough is more of like the stage, it's the process, whereas thumbnails like the actual thing that you draw. So the reason why they're called thumbnails is because they're meant to be small. They're meant to be not literally thumbnail size, but they're really small. I usually like to put them about the size of your index finger, and they're supposed to be drawn really, really rough. So there's not supposed to be too much detail in it, not super cleaned up, very kind of just there to figure out the composition and what your ideas maybe might look like. Because here's the thing, things always look good in our heads until we draw them out. So I'll write that here. things always sound and look good in our heads until we put it on paper. So it's always a good idea to just put it on paper just to really check if your ideas sound as good as you think it does. So always good to check. Okay. So always good to check. Josh with the hard truth, yeah. Keep learning that lesson. Yeah, and this is not to say that it maybe might sound like I'm backtracking a little bit, but it's not to say that if you don't do roughs that you won't make good drawings and whatnot, but it's always good to just check. You know, you never know. And I think what this also does is it lets you create variety. Creates variety of ideas, and it also lets you kind of grab the best from all the variants. Let's say grab the best from all variants. Did I spell variants right? Is it with an A? I think it's with an A. Variants, and combine them. Because usually when we come up with the first idea maybe might seem really good because we don't have anything drawn yet. But then afterwards, you draw maybe Mult 2 or the third one or fourth one, and then you realize that because you are forced, or you forced yourself to draw a third and fourth idea, you're actually pushing your ideas more and more. So, okay, I'm gonna draw. Actually, I think I'm gonna expand also the composition because I'm feeling a vertical composition right now. Still gonna plan it out, but I'm feeling a vertical one. I feel like that would be really cool. Although I am going to kind of just draw out a shape here, and then maybe we'll just do 2 variants of an idea. I think that's all we really need. And so these are kind of just like the rough boxes to work things out in. So A, B. Oh, and this is great too. Good thing to practice is as you are coming up with ideas, it's always a good idea to kind of label your different ideas. So when you show your clients or your customers, or even just kind of getting opinions from your friends on which one works and looks the best, this way people can point it out very easily, oh, I like idea A, or I like idea B. Sometimes it's good to have a visual on your ideas. Yeah, exactly. Mind maps work the same way. Exactly. So I think what we do here, it's not exactly mind mapping, but it kind of just jogging. It's kind of getting your brain and mind used to kind of brainstorming and working through ideas instead of just kind of idea vomiting and sticking to the first thing that comes out. That sounds really gross. Sounds very visceral, but yeah. Oh, also, you know what? I just realized because we started a bit late, I guess we'll end at 3:15. Is it 3? No, 2:15 rather than the usual 2, because I realized we started about 15-ish minutes late, so we'll push the clock a little bit. So at first I was like, man, we're already 45 minutes left, and it's oh wait, no, we technically have more 1 hour left. Okay. So 1 point perspective. What I would do is maybe grab a light line And I'm going to use a different color than the framing. And what is this? This is rough notes. And then this is my rough ideas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where I think I want the horizon line and the vanishing point to be. So because I think I want to get the scale of the room, I want to make the pillars seem very tall. I want to be able to draw the statue really tall. I'm not going to have the horizon line in the middle, because if I have it in the middle, I'm giving an equal amount of space to the top and the bottom. So if I, for example, put the horizon line here, then I have an equal amount of space to draw the statue over here, as well as whatever I decide to put below me on the ground here. But I feel like I want a bit more space for the statues, and I feel like I can't really think of what I would add below, like for the ground. So I'm going to have the horizon line be a little bit lower, closer to here. Actually, give me a second. I'm going to blow my nose again. Not sick, by the way. Nearly finished making dinner. Nice. Yeah, I guess same. Oh, fish. You got fish for dinner. Nice. Fish and potatoes. That sounds like a very hearty meal. Is the horizon line like the floor or the line of sight of the viewer? Here, in case you missed it, I kind of went through it here. The horizon line is where you are as the viewer. So imagine if you are the viewer and you are standing in front of a window. The window is your composition, it's your kind of finished drawing kind of frame, and you are the viewer looking out of this window. Whatever you see contained inside of this window is like the drawing. So the horizon line is wherever your eye level is and wherever you are positioned in this drawing. So in this case here, if I draw the horizon line here, yes, it does include the floor, it does include the ground, and it is the line of sight of the viewer. But depending on like what we're drawing, because sometimes if we're drawing nature, for example, like mountains, hills, they break outside of the horizon line. And if we're drawing like staircases or any kind of elevated ground, that also might break above or below the horizon line. But if you want to kind of get a very simple, very foundational understanding, then yeah, I think thinking of it as the ground floor is a really good way of kind of getting you into the idea of how perspective works. It's kind of fishy. I guess like do you like fishy? I feel like that's kind of how it comes down to whether you like fish or not. It's like, do you like that sea taste, that fishy taste? Okay, so now that I have the horizon line, and I'm gonna put one point, my vanishing point, right over here. This is kind of a big part of one point perspective, is that it mostly, I would say for the most part, sits right in the middle. You can have it maybe be off a little bit if you want to, but I would say that as long as it's kind of roughly in the middle, you're pretty good, you're pretty safe. And let me see. I'm gonna put a vertical line above and below my vanishing point. I don't think I really need it, but you know. And then I'm just gonna roughly put out some guidelines. So you don't have to do the same thing, but I do think that having a bit of a grid helps. And sometimes some drawing softwares will already have some guidelines, so you can actually use those tools. Krita, I don't think, has a perspective tool, or at least I tried looking for it and I couldn't find it. I should honestly just try to figure out like if they do have it like officially or not, but I haven't done so. So I don't know, maybe they do have one. But if they don't, it'd be nice if they got one. Right. Oh, they do have one? Oh, nice. Okay. If they do have one, I gotta like figure out like where it is and use it. But I guess this is for anybody who doesn't know how the grid works for perspective. Every time I say the grid, for anybody who doesn't know how to use the grid. Okay, so over the fill bucket. The 2 over the fill bucket. Oh, is it this? No. I don't see. Wait, what is... Oh, it is! Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice. Okay. That's kind of neat. Nice. I've never tried it before, actually. I guess I'll give it a shot, maybe like on my own. Maybe we could try for 2-point perspective, because maybe I'm old school. I I draw out all my lines, my grids. Okay, so with the grid draw, it's a bit finicky to figure out how to read the map. Really, you have to read. Okay, that's like a great side, I guess, for how user friendly it is. But yeah, so if you want to manually draw out a grid and kind of the radial grid for yourself, this is how I would do it. I grabbed the Symmetry tool and put it in the middle just so it's easier to draw out the other sides. But here is the horizon line, or it's the eye level. Okay, so, or as someone else kind of described it, the ground plane. I think that's another good way to think of it. So now that I have it, I'm going to lower... Oh, shoot, where did I draw it? Oh no, where did I draw it? Okay. Just gonna extract this out. This is the grid. And I'm going to now work with this grid. So the way you want to use 1-point perspective to set up your drawing is I'm going to kind of contain where I want things to be. So this is going to be a bit different from yesterday's stream where I painted in the details. This one I'm going to draw in the details. So in this case, I'm going to bring back the Symmetry tool. It made it pretty useful, pretty helpful. I'm going to say that this hall is not super expansive. It's like maybe cuts off around here. So I'm going to have a giant pillar maybe around here. Because due to time, probably going to stick with the idea that I come up with here. This B idea is just going to be kind of like a recomposition of whatever I do in A. And then I'm going to draw another pillar, maybe like a little bit further down the road, maybe around here. And I think we're going to give it like some cracks, have it be a little bit broken down a little, so that'll be cool. Maybe we can even give it a real sense of scale by having it not be, like we don't see the tops of the ceilings. Oh, also that's, I guess, what the reference image is for. Hey, look at that. Okay, so this one's pretty far down, I think. Let me see if I put a line here. Okay. So my pillar is about here to here. So if I were to draw a straight line across, that would kind of put the pillar to be like this shape. So I'm trying to figure out the curvature of my pillar. And so I drew kind of like a box for it to kind of give me a rough idea as to how much it's curving. So it looks like it's like this. And oh, the way that I kind of am mapping it out is I'm putting the horizon line and the vanishing point, marking here, and then this was over here, and then if I kind of go like, okay, this is how big If this was drawn as a rectangle, this is where I would cut things off at. And so my ellipse, the circle, needs to fit inside of that square. So that's kind of how I'm figuring out where it would be. But actually, that's not too bad. This also gives me an idea as to where the other pillars are also going to be situated. Actually, based on how this one's drawn, my pillar would actually be also like right over here. So it would be like this big. And then I'm just gonna eyeball the ridges. So have the ridges over here. And it's gonna be like here. And then let's have, okay, the corner was like here and here. So let's just say that it is like this for the base. The base kind of part of the pillar is gonna be like here. I'll probably push it up a little bit. Let's put it here. Maybe let's put it a little bit further back. I'm just kind of eyeballing what feels correct for the base of the pillar. There is a technical way of doing it, but I think we're just gonna eyeball it for this one. As long as it feels pretty correct, I think that's all we really need. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe we can make it a bit higher. Something like that. But how do you draw a square? Oh, Medusa's head. Oh, that would be pretty good. Yeah. Draw a square to draw a circle. Actually, so, well, I'm not gonna get into it. It's actually really complicated. In terms of like how you draw the whole thing between drawing a square and a circle. From an architecture's point of view, it's actually a little bit complicated. For what we need as illustrators and background designers, I would keep it very simple. I wouldn't really get into it too much, but yes, the base rule, Jiaoren is kind of correct. The base rule for drawing a circle is to draw a square. So if you draw a square, I don't know why I'm drawing it. I could use the shape tool, but let's say this is your square. So a circle fits inside perfectly. So if you divide up the square, wherever your circle lands for these four corners or 4 points, these contact points, this is where your circle kind of meets. And here's the weird goal about drawing a circle. When you draw the circle, do not try to intentionally aim for the 4 points, because if you try to intentionally aim for the 4 points, you'll get a very rigid circle. You'll get a very angular circle. So you want to keep in mind that you're drawing something that's constantly curving and constantly bending. Because if you get really caught up in drawing a perfect circle by meeting these 4 points, you'll end up drawing straight lines. So you just want to make sure that so this way you kind of like see where everything is lining up. Now I drew the line kind of bad. I realized I didn't divide it up like properly. So I think this is closer to where the center of the circle would be. Like if you want to like measure it with your fingernails just to get the size of the circle correct, I would kind of recommend that. Like that. And then maybe we can go and like that. Actually, I'm gonna, nah, that's okay. Okay, so that's where you get your circle. This is where it gets a little bit complicated, and this is why I feel like not really gonna get into it too much. The circle is actually based, you draw, so if we're drawing a flat circle, you use a square. If you're drawing a square, you use a circle. So this is why it gets a little kind of like, what? So if this is your horizon line, I love teaching this though because it's really bizarre. Like it's, when people kind of learn about it, I would encourage you guys to properly learn it, to go over it. We're not gonna go, I'm just gonna give you the Spark Notes version of it. So I want to figure out where like, what is a square? How do I know that a square is properly a square in perspective? Well, you can wing it. You can make it up if you want to, but this is kind of our containment for the shape that we're working with. And this is our vanishing point over here. We have another vanishing point like way off into the distance. It's coming over here. So now we need to figure out like where this circle, or where this kind of, how the square is kind of formed. So we figure out how a square is formed by drawing a circle. And I would say that based on where the horizon line is and where the vanishing point is, we are drawing the square, I want to put it roughly maybe like here. Let's say it's like this. And this is where the circle is kind of pointing out. And so now I have same thing. I have these points. Here. And the circle again needs to hit all 3 of these points, and wherever it hits here, so not the horizon line, but wherever it hits here, this center line that I drew, that is where the other side of the ellipse is. And I just need to make sure that each sides are even and symmetrical. So when I draw it out, they just need to feel symmetrical in how it's kind of hitting the circle. So maybe mine's a little bit off. I would like move it up a little bit. Oh, I would move it up a little bit, maybe around here. It's kind of still angling down a bit because of 2-point perspective. It's going to be a little bit angled down. And based on where this circle ends, well, that's where we find out where the square is, or how a square is formed. So then we draw a straight line down, and this tells us in perspective what a square would be. So this is why this is why, like, this is more for construction and architecture. So if you guys ever look into like architecture perspective, from the architecture's perspective, the architecture's point of view when it comes to drawing circles, ellipses, and forms, this is what it looks like. But this is why it's kind of like, for artists who are drawing like characters or kind of just concept art, you don't really need this. This is more of like bonus. But I think it's like fun to learn because it kind of shows you the inner sides of why perspective works the way it does. I think from like character designers and as environmental artists, we are usually more caught up on like, how do we draw characters? But I think if you, and then we kind of like learn perspective, and it's like, okay, I know how to use it for what I need, so that's it. But I think it's always kind of cool when you learn where perspective comes from and why perspective works in the way that it does. If you think about how radius/diameter works in geometry, it's kind of like you're spinning a line around from the center. Yeah, exactly. So if we look at it from a top point of view, this is kind of exactly what you were saying, Jandy. What we're basically looking at here is, imagine these are all squares. So I'm just going to draw it out in perspective so you can kind of see that we're looking at it as squares. And each inside of these squares are circles. And ellipses. And this is where the center line is. That center line that cuts right in the middle is right here. It cuts right in the middle. It's like a CD. Hopefully you guys know what the CD is, but it's like a CD. It cuts right inside, and it keeps going. Oh, I drew mine a little bit off, but imagine kept going this way. I love perspective though. Like it's so fascinating. I think it's like such a fascinating topic, and it like cuts through. So when we look at it from perspective, we're seeing it from the other side. But yeah, it's really cool. I think perspective, the concept of perspective, is really neat. Like I said though, again, as character designers, it doesn't really, you don't really need to know too much of it, but it's kind of just good to know. It's like a cool side image or side knowledge thing to know. Like dot to dot, kind of like dot to dot. I feel like what helped me is because when I was a kid and I drew circles, and I remember my teacher showing me this. It was like, oh, just draw a square, and then divide the square into quarters, and then just wherever the circle hits, just connect it. But what ends up happening is, like, for me, whenever I was like when I was a kid and I was drawing circles, my circles would always look like this. They would curve a little bit, and then they would like not line up. And the problem was, I think in my mind, I'm trying to make sure the curvature of the circle hits from dot to dot perfectly. I think what helped me figure this out or use this technique is to not think about the dots. Think, like, just know that you need to hit the dots, but don't think about the dots. It's a very, I don't know, it kind of worked for me, but maybe it's a harder, like, it might not work for you, but it's like a good thing to maybe like try out. Geometry is very cool, but sometimes math hurts my brain, so application I only notice ages later. Yeah, you know, that's a very, very good point, Jandy. I really like kind of how you kind of bring that up. It's like perspective is the same thing too. I think it, like, when you first learn it, it's very like, oh my gosh, my brain cannot handle like all the information, kind of thing. But then, and then as you try it here and there, and as you like give it a shot and experiment with it a little bit more with like how it works and everything, it slowly kind of clicks in, and with time your brain gets a little bit more accustomed, or yeah, accustomed to how it all works and how it all comes together. So I think that's a very good point. It's a very true point. So I'm just gonna build these structures here. I'm not gonna calculate like how it would be like pushing into the distance, but let's just say the box ended around here, and so it would be somewhere like here. And so we can draw all the pillars, like the bases of them, if we wanted to. Map them all out. I probably, now that I'm looking at it, it's like, probably should push it out further. Maybe we should have it be a little bit bigger, or like spaced out, but it's okay. This is just the rough. This is us just kind of putting our ideas onto paper. It's the theory stuff that makes my mind wander and get bored. Oh yeah, for sure. I totally know what you mean. I think same thing for math as well. Whenever I learned math, I was just like, I cannot. I think it's like, I was telling my friend a lot where it's just like, I think I'm a visual, haha, well, like, no duh, I'm a visual person. So I think what happens is, like, when I try to learn math, if I can't visualize how the concepts are coming together, like the numbers for equations and everything, my brain just cannot compute what is happening. Oh, bye Groove. But yeah, it's the theory. That's probably why I never like the textbooks too much. Too many do this, but no connection to something. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Maybe practice it on paper first in a grid notebook. It really helps seeing where your line is going to be. Also, much easier to learn box perspective in them. Yeah, I think that's true. I think, like having something like a grid or a grid kind of sketchbook helps to let you visually plant something down. So you know, it's like, oh, I drew a line here. The next shape can be maybe mapped out here. So I think that's pretty good, if that helps, especially. And bye Groove. Diagrams with all the math problems sometimes helps me notice something I couldn't imagine only through text. Yeah. I think that's why it's like sometimes, like, especially when we're out eating dinner with friends and we need to start calculating the bill. I'm not gonna lie, I immediately just check out. My brain is just like, nope, I'm good. I have no idea what's happening. Which I know is like not it's not great. I'm pretty sure like it would be nice. Like our friends would probably be like, "Hey, can you help out with the bill? Can you like help figure out like how much everybody needs to pay and everything?" And I'm just like, what? You know, like I've just checked out. My brain is just like, I'm okay. I do not want to figure out how this works. Which is, I guess, in a way, maybe like terrible. Because it's like, come on, Josh, you gotta help out with the bills. Help out figure out this receipt that we're all working on. And I'm just like, my brain, it does not want to do the maths. It's like all the art. That's why people are like, the art people figuring out math with them. It's okay. It's we provide the emotional introspective opinions on things. Whoops. That's a kind of a cool looking hall. Actually, this reminds me more of like was it Ba Sing Se in Avatar? Like the Emperor's Hall? I feel like it looks more like that. Just get separate checks for that reason. I know, whenever it's separate checks, it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for just splitting the bill. But when they don't, and like everybody got something different, and then you learn that like, oh, the tips and the taxes don't get split equally, and it's like it depends on how much you paid, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. Okay, actually I realized too that I think we don't need actually all of these, so I'm actually going to delete some of these. Okay, so because the hall kind of ends in the middle, because I kind of want like a giant banner or something in the back. Okay, then we can have like a giant like cave, maybe a giant like arch in the back. I think it is a little bit too close to each other, so maybe I will move these things over to the side, which does not help because then it kind of skews the perspective, but that's okay. We'll just lean into it for now. Where did I put it? Put it like here. Okay. It does put the horizon line actually where I originally said I wouldn't put it, which is right in the middle actually, so that's kind of funny. Okay, I guess we're gonna move the grid over a little bit. I'm gonna move it up here, there. So now now it lines up a little bit more in the middle than what I originally wanted, but that's okay. That's because I want it to be a bit more of a shallow room, and then we can have like maybe a giant, like there's gonna be a gap here, and then maybe like a giant hole or tunnel maybe. Oh yeah, and then we have like the braziers, or not braziers, the bowls. Gotta have the giant bowls. I also realize now is like, oh, maybe it's very complicated because now I don't know where the bowls would be. Now I have to figure out like the placement of the bowls. This is why I wanted the vertical one, because then we can have like maybe here, okay, and then we have another one over here. So remember, we're looking above at these what is it, alabaster bowls. So we're gonna see it curving upwards, but it's a bowl, so yeah. Also, why are they just sticking off to the side? I realize that's a little weird. So, we have them get more like here. And we're looking more above them as it gets closer to us. So, it'll be like here. Oh, did I move something? I feel like ended up moving something. Oh, it's the shape of it. Okay. A bit more like here then. So they're all supposed to feel like they're in perspective. Like they're all lined up with one another. So that's why I'm changing it. To this day, I'm still trying to figure out what the point of linear algebra. Okay, bye, Muse. Fast facility. Bye bye. Is there going to be like a statue at the end of the hall? Yeah, there's going to be a statue at the end of the hall. That's kind of what that's there for. Yeah. Just kind of adding in the feel, the texture of it. And then maybe here there's like a giant robe or hall. Maybe we make this a little bit larger. There, I think like taking these away helps. Gonna maybe make it a little bit further down. What is the scariest movie I have ever seen? Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, okay, maybe not the scariest movie, but I mean recently there was Obsession, and that was pretty good, I'd say. But I don't know, like it's definitely not the scariest movie. But it was pretty kind of like, I don't know, like it's stuck in my mind for quite a bit. So I don't know if you'd count that as like the scariest movie. But it was pretty kind of like got stuck in my mind. I think that part of it is because of how real it feels, in the sense, okay, obviously it's very like over the top and exaggerated, and like the scenario would never exist, fingers crossed kind of thing. But you know, the concept of like just relationships and the obsession and toxic relationships and like the realness of it, but then punched up to that fantastical kind of aspect and degree of it, I do think makes it very unsettling to that degree, because it feels very possible in a way, of like it being really close to home in a sense where it can be real. Not that this has happened to me, but like in a sense that like this can be a tangible, real scenario, kind of makes it more unsettling, I think, is why it feels very like a lot of people connect with it, or a lot of people are kind of mesmerized by the idea of it, because it's like so over the top, it's very like crazy, but then also feels very real at the same time. And I feel like you don't really get too much of that in horror movies, too much. So yeah. It been nightmare so far. Last subject I have to pass to get my degree in economy. Oh boy. Well, good luck on your uh on your degree. I was actually thinking about like putting, I don't know, some kind of like lion over here maybe, but I feel like that's very ambitious. I don't know, the lion. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. I think what's kind of great too is that, you know, parasocial relationships. Yeah, exactly. I think what's kind of also great about it too is the discussions themselves, because it's a movie with so many kind of facets to it in a way, and there's so much to kind of like notice from just like, even if you don't take the movie seriously, there's a lot to kind of like pay notice and be like, oh, I didn't see that the first time I watched the movie, kind of a deal. And then when you watch it like a second time, there's like other things. So it's a very cool movie that's very rewatchable. And then you put in the kind of aspect of also the topics and the themes that it's discussing, and then just also the online discourse around it. I think it's made people just like, oh, this is such a very engaging movie to kind of discuss and talk about. Yeah, so I think because of that, I think it's captured a lot of people's attention. Uh, okay, so here is the cauldron. Maybe we can have like another arch in the back over here. Also, has anybody ever seen the statue of David before? My goodness, that thing is like, just the statue is absolutely ginormous. I think like if you've never seen it, and I've always seen it in photos, because you always see it in photos and you're like, oh, this seems like a, I always thought it was a tiny statue. I don't know. I was just like, oh yeah, it's like a normal statue. It's whatever. And then you get there and it's just absolutely just ginormous. And you're like, oh, holy smokes, this thing is huge. What the heck? It's crazy. It's really cool though. Love just letting my brain wander like that. Oh, let's see. I always like just this part of the drawing process, subconsciously imagining what's going on in this place. What is the story behind there? Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of the great thing about concept art and drawing, is just like the idea of letting your brain wander. Oh yeah, also I said that we'd have like a statue here. So I think I kind of want like a really, just kind of a statue in the distance right over here. And then maybe there's like legs, so it's kind of the giant legs. So, you know, getting a little bit of inspiration from the David statue. Have like this giant leg, but it's been broken, so we don't see too much of it. Also, this way I don't have to draw like an actual person. And then maybe we can have even like, also just seeing like old world statues is like so, it's so fascinating. It's like seeing another like world and being like, man, this is what society or like the world used to be like. It's kind of neat. Maybe we can have like rock crumbles. Maybe there's like debris that's just kind of fallen over here and it's kind of all like chipped away and everything. So cool. Love just letting my brain. Yeah, exactly. Would give a movie a try. I think if you're, I would definitely. I think it's a movie to watch with friends. It's weird. It's a horror movie, but it's also a fun movie, if that makes sense. Or if you can kind of even imagine a movie that's like that. But yeah, I think it's like a good movie with a lot of like fun to it. Okay. So this is like maybe one idea. I do think that eventually I accidentally made it still a little bit too, I think I accidentally made it a bit too high up, so I'm going to move these things a little bit lower. Maybe like down here. I think that's kind of better. At least composition wise, I think this is closer to kind of what I originally wanted. I don't know if there would be anything at the top of it, but oh. Also, this is why you need good friends. Yeah, I guess so. This is why you need people who are on the same kind of sanity level as you, I guess. So I'm just gonna take whatever I have here, and like I said, just going to uh, do it for the other sides as well. Oh, and also you'll notice that this radial kind of pattern that I'm drawing, or I don't know, pattern, not necessarily pattern, but this radial grid on the top is following the perspective grid. So, yeah. And then the reason why I am like, oh, seems kind of like nothing too much going on, and that's because we're gonna shade all this. In the darkness. So I'm not gonna paint this one, not gonna color it, but we are, I think, I do want to draw it out in, or not draw it up, well, yes, draw it up, but then also kind of shade it in, so we get this sense of a little bit of depth to it. Yeah, so like that, and then what is it? Oh yeah, these ones also in shadow a little bit. So when I'm doing, especially like environmental roughs, I do like to shade it in a little bit just so that I know, have a better sense of depth with what it is that I'm drawing, and that it's not just like, oh, you know, just line work, because depth unfortunately is a little bit harder to sell sometimes if you only draw the lines. So sometimes I like to just make sure that I have like a greater sense of, I don't know, depth. You know, it's kind of weird. I'm gonna draw like a snake, or maybe like the carpet or something. Or be very specific about your wishes. Yeah, I guess there's that too. But I guess it's also I guess that's like one way of looking at it, and then there's the other one is like, maybe, you know, be a good person, I guess. I don't watch many, but I do like subtle horror, like a feeling of iron lung. Oh, okay, yeah. Just tie quiet tension the whole time that makes you feel like everything is against you. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I guess, uh, like Alien's a pretty classic one for me. What else? Yeah, like I feel like Alien's a good one. I don't know if you call that horror. I also do not like horror movies or don't typically watch horror movies. So I feel like Alien's a good classic one. Although I don't know if you'd call it horror. Imagine this is what ancient Greek people did when they made their massive structures. Okay, so this guy said I should draw in perspective. Depth is the issue I'm having with environments right now, but I'm just doing houses for now. Yeah, well, I think part of it is like sense of scale and also sense of, yeah, sense of scale and whatnot is definitely a big part of it. Ooh, what if I... Okay, so hear me out here. So someone says Cerberus. Maybe instead of drawing Cerberus, we just kind of have Cerberus slowly peer out of the shadows. It's kind of just hiding in the background. So then this way I don't have to draw Cerberus, but I can kind of like hint at it a little bit. Also, I don't know if anybody has any dogs, but I feel like dogs kind of do this where they like, my dog, every time I like take him out and I'm like trying to brush his teeth after the night walks and everything, and I'm trying to like lure him, be like, hey, come over here, I need to brush your teeth, or like, hey, I need to give you a snack. My dog is always hiding under the table first, and then he's always like peering at me, and the way the light is kind of just cascading off in the distance, or not in the distance, but like the way that I have my lights turned on in the hall and he's just there, it's always like very ominous because you just see his eyes just reflecting in the darkness. I'm just like, bro, you gotta like why are you just like glaring at me? Not glaring, but he's just like looking at me, and I'm like, do you have something you want to say? You wanna come out of the tables over there? And he's just like looking at me, and his eyes are glowing. And it's like a horror movie. You're finding inspiration in very annoying moments. Wait, what? I think the Backwards movie was really good. One of my favorite, not my favorite horror movie ever. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. He's protecting you. Yeah, maybe. What was it? Oh, now we gotta draw the actual perspective thing. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is usually I would take what I have here and I would actually do another one, but for the sake of time, I think all I'm gonna show you guys is sometimes what I do for just like cleaning up an idea is something like this, where it's not so much a different idea completely, but it's more so like, oh, I want to just make things higher. I just want to kind of situate and kind of make the composition maybe different. So I like the idea, but now I just want to make it like higher. Yeah, maybe we can have like a little breakdown over here, and maybe there's I don't know, someone said Medusa. I think that's kind of cool. We can have a giant Medusa head just like here. And it's like a statue. There we go. It looks something like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. You gotta just spitball it. And then the head is actually inside of this thing here, so we would have it kind of encased in shadows, like such. And so the snakes have to kind of crawl out of the hole themselves. Something like that. There. I think that was pretty good. Ooh, alien. Oh, you know, I would love that. If they took the Aliens universe and they put that in like a medieval setting, that would be really cool. Kind of similar to what they did with Predator, right? They took Predator and then they're like, hey, let's put Predator but set it in, what is it? Like in was it, Aboriginal or indigenous kind of environment. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like set it in like the early Americas kind of thing. I think that was like pretty. This was like a pretty cool idea. Because it kind of took the formula that we already know when it comes to like Predator, and kind of like changes it up a little bit with like different tools, different gear, what people had to work with back then. So that was pretty neat. If that's is that what they did set it in, like, yeah, like Arthur, is it Arthurian? I don't know, the Arthur time period. Yeah, that was a pretty cool idea. I do like it when kind of genres kind of try, or shows, or try to like mix it up a little bit, because it's like, yeah, we've been doing the same thing over and over again. Let's mix it up a bit. So I do like that. Yeah. Exactly, Jaren. Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I want to try out like a horizontal one, but then afterwards I'm like, oh, let's just kind of make it a more vertical one. That was the plan all along, to have it be more vertical. Okay. So, now that I have the rough here, we're gonna actually draw the thing. I'm gonna actually draw it properly now. So, now that we have, like, we had the perspective figured out, we had all of that mapped out, so now I'm going to actually draw it. And actually, I'm gonna give it a frame first. So, let's put it like here. I'm gonna call this a frame. I'm a big fan. Oh, hello, little rover cat. Glad you're able to join, and well, happy that you're a fan. Okay. Yeah, we're just I don't know if you just hopped in or not, but yeah, we're just kind of now with the remaining not a lot of time actually, gonna draw in these details. So I'm just gonna kind of go for it. Gonna have a little bit of fun with the styling of it. It's gonna be a little bit maybe symmetrical for a bit, and then I'm gonna change it up. So I just want to map out roughly where the pillars are going to be. Because we have the perspective figured out in the rough version, I don't have to necessarily draw out all the details in a very like what is it, in a very accurate way. I can kind of just go for it because we already figured out the perspective in the rough. So because we already figured that part out, I just have to outline and clean up the drawing. So that's kind of where my mind is at when it comes to this. Because we figured it out, we can leave the perspective stuff behind, and we could just mostly focus on the actual drawing itself. Maybe I'm gonna have this be a bit higher. I will say the finicky thing about drawing in perspective is that if you do decide to change something down the line, it can get a little bit annoying, because then it means that you kind of have to kind of guess a little bit as to where things will be. So that's kind of like the one downside. You know, I'll bring the grid over actually. The grid. I think that's where I have it. Let's put it. Let's just put it right here. All right. Nice. So I only need to see a little bit of the grid because I want to be able to track roughly where things are. And I'm using the perspective lines here roughly to give me an idea as, again, where the overall details might be. And with 1-point perspective, anything that's vertical is going to be straight. So the only things you have to be worried about in terms of like it angling and what angle it should be going in is the stuff that's going towards the vanishing point. That's right here. So it's all the side stuff. All the things in the front, you don't really have to worry too much about that. Yeah, that's front facing or vertical facing. Those are things you do not have to really worry too much about. What was the drawing? Oh, I watched your vids and won a drawing competition. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, I guess what Jiaran say is like what competition was it? I feel like we've had a few competitions over the years, so yeah. Well, whichever one it was, glad you won it. Hopefully got you to do some drawing and come up with some good stuff. Also, I like to manually draw my pillars sometimes, just makes it, I don't know, that extra little bit of line work is always nice. So that's why having a good underdrawing is, or can be helpful, because then you don't have to fully kind of make it up or try to check if your lines are straight, because they are straight. It's just, you just now have to draw it properly. I guess easier said than done. Okay, so there are our pillars, and then, oh, I guess I'll draw the lion statue over here. Ooh, Battle Cats. You know, I feel like I've heard about it, but I've not played it myself. I guess if Jaron has played it, it must be a good, fun game. Just gonna add a little bit of these detailed bits right here inside of the pillar, just to give it a little bit of extra depth to it. Same thing over here. I'm gonna actually cut it out and have a bit of this like indented part inside of this pillar base, just so that it gives it a bit more depth to the drawing. Alright, there we go. That was pretty good. And okay, scale of the room. Oh, okay. Alright, these alabaster. Okay, I think how these should technically be hung is that they are hung maybe like from the middle. They're kind of maybe like punctured in, and then they like hang outside. And then there you get the bowl. So it's like right here. Maybe they're cut inside of the pillar. Honestly, I do not know. I am kind of making it up as we go here. Kind of how this would be hung on the pillar. Maybe something like that. I do think that looks pretty cool though. I don't know, maybe we could put one more like up here. I had a whole bunch of tea spilled on me. No. Oh no. Well, hopefully it wasn't hot and you're like okay. But yeah, that sucks. Dang. Hopefully you didn't burn yourself. Oh, what is this? Oh, is this about tablets? Drawing pad, I only have a mouse. Oh man, dang. I will have to rewatch this. Oh, are you leaving, Bulldog? Okay. On my quest to watch every live ever on this. Holy, oh my goodness. That's a lot of watching. Well, hopefully you're enjoying the live streams and that they're you know, helping you out in your art journey. But watching all of them, that is a huge, you know, that's a huge task, undertaking of a task. Like, holy. Well, you know, I guess for live streams, the way that I always treat live streams as well, if I watch them, is like they're good to have in the background while you do your own thing too. So I guess if you're learning and you're drawing and you just have us in the background, I guess that works out. Lions. Over there. Oh, that was looking okay. Not too bad. Actually, I end up having the lions look like they're lying down. I feel like there maybe is. Oh, you're the tea gossip. Oh, okay, jokes. Uh, how many references is too much? I've got about 9-ish, and I think I'm overwhelmed. I would say that you know what? I don't think there is a technically proper amount of Like, I don't think you can ever have too many references. I think maybe a good way to tell whether or not maybe you should stop with the references is if you end up just looking for references and never starting your drawing. Maybe that's a better way of looking at it, because I know that I've definitely for sure gone down the rabbit hole of having too many references and getting caught up more in just looking for references and not really getting into the drawing part, because it's just like, oh, but I gotta find more references and more references, and then next thing you know, you just don't have anything to work with, or like you're not doing your drawing. So I think maybe that's might be a better gauge. Maybe I don't know. Let me know. Let me know if that's like something that's relatable, because I feel like that's what happens to me more or less, is just like, oh, finding too many references and getting caught up in the process or the rabbit hole of finding references, not so much having. I feel like having is usually okay. Like, I feel like you can never have too much, especially depending on what you're drawing specifically. But I definitely can see just like myself being like, oh, that's a good reference, and then you save that, and you're like, oh, that's a good reference, I'm gonna save that, and then you just keep going, and then next thing you know, like, and 2 hours have gone by, but you haven't drawn anything, and it's like, oh, whoops, I didn't end up having anything to work on. So yeah, that's more for me, though. But yeah. I'm in none of the videos. Probably depends if you're using a big or small parts of each reference. Yeah, maybe that too. I don't think you can ever have too many. I think what's more is like whether, kind of building on Jaren's point, is like maybe it's, you can think of it as also are you getting the references that you need? Is so that's why it's like there's never really a hard like number of like, oh, too many references. I feel like it's usually more of like, okay, did you get enough references for all the different parts that you're going to be drawing and working on? I think that's more closer, I guess you could say. Yeah, as always, probably gonna go over time a little bit here. I kind of want to like draw these like grid shapes. They're kind of satisfying to draw, and they're very like complex. So I'm like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to keep adding to these shapes over here. So it feels more, I feel like it gives it a bit more sense of depth to the drawing. Even if it's not like super, maybe like quote unquote realistic. But I think it'll be cool just to have these here. Sorry, Jaren, making you stay a little bit longer than expected. I don't know if you have anywhere that you need to go, but let me but let me know if you need if you're gonna be hopping off. By the way, I'm too young to buy it myself. My parents won't let me. I feel like, you know, if you really need a tablet, I think you can always find some on the used market. So I think you can always probably get some that are a little bit cheaper than what you would typically get if you would buy it like brand new, because you might be lucky enough to find people selling it for maybe like half off. So if you're lucky enough and you somehow find someone who is selling a Wacom for half off, well, guess what? That's like, you just saved a couple $1,000s right there. So I feel like you can always try to keep an eye out for tablets on sale or people who are selling it. That might be a better kind of I don't know, better use of research, maybe. Like you can research if you know that you won't be able to buy it anytime soon. You could try finding it on the used market. Might be a better place to look for or look at. Yeah. Don't have any plans today, just chilling. Oh, okay, great. Not that now I'm gonna be like, okay, now I'm drawing forever. But that's good to know. No holiday plans today, Jaren? Or what were you gonna do at home? Were you gonna like do some reading, do some drawing? Prefer the live format, but I also have video playlists that go through Too Many Human Anatomy and a few more. Ah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of. I feel like we did have a lot of also just a bunch of like human anatomy stuff that you guys can read through as well. So that's true. Hey, that's looking not too bad. Looking pretty good. I think we'll add in the cracks for Medusa, maybe shade in the background a little bit, and then yeah, I guess we can almost call it a day. I don't know if that's something in Greek mythology. Maybe not. I feel like I put that in and I'm like, doesn't seem right. I feel like it's more flat. Alright, there we go. Looking pretty clean. I think maybe I will have this part maybe come in a little bit. Yeah. Oh, we can't even see that. Wait, that's the pillar. Jokes. My bad. I was like, something feels a little bit odd here. It's like, oh right, we wouldn't even be able to see that. Okay, and then we have the carpet. Oh, I guess the carpet, I don't need the... Do not need the symmetry tool for that. Going to add these lines here, and then it did say it was like, oh, a snake, so we'll just put in a snake. Have I ever played pixel art games? Ooh, pixel art games. Have I ever played pixel art games? I don't know, but if anybody has like recommendations for pixel art games, I'm all game for your pixel art games suggestions and recommendations. Just gonna draw some like bricks. Some like, I like the patch style of bricks approach. And so if you guys have ever seen it, sometimes what people will do is they'll just draw like 3 bricks here and there, just to like help indicate that there are bricks here. And nothing really else to it. Okay, and then we're gonna draw this pedestal for our statue guy over here. Oops. Okay, looks pretty good. You know, I'll show the broken part on the inside. And maybe we'll have like the big toe right there. Maybe that's a little bit too... It kind of wraps around like the feet, legs. Okay, that's 1 foot. And then I'm just gonna draw the other one, and then we'll move on to Medusa, and I think that's gonna be pretty much it. Almost done with that. I had a cat, its name was Pancake, which she died in the most brutal... Oh, that's so sad. Well, hopefully, you know, the cat had a good life. I feel like I just like read that randomly and I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, hopefully your cat was a lovable cat and everything. Let me see. We're gonna have the, well, this staff. There we go. It's pretty good. I think we're like almost there. Hey, nice. Okay, I do think like the line work, maybe I should have started off like thinner from the beginning, but oh well. Yeah, he escaped from the house. Oh no. I got eaten by dogs. Oh my goodness. Didn't know it was a desktop only now. Oh, what is this for? For Cerberus' head on the far right, you can lift it over the broken leg on the statue so the spear isn't obstructing the view. Yeah, I mean, we could do that. Yeah. Well, hopefully the cat is like I don't know, like hopefully that's not too brutal and I don't know. Hopefully you and your family are kind of, I don't know, found a way to kind of grieve for the cat. That's unfortunate. I feel like after getting a pet for myself, it's like whenever people go like, oh yeah, like this happened to my dog, or like this happened to this animal, I'm like, oh no. Like I feel it more than I would have beforehand. I think like once you get a cat or like an animal, you relate a little bit more to, I don't know, animals in a strange way. Okay, just drawing some cracks on it just to give it a bit more of an ancient kind of feel, and that's what I'm gonna do with the pillars too before we move on to like the other parts. Now I know pillars, they're supposed to technically also have those like the grooves on them, so I'm just gonna quickly draw them in. Like those ones, I don't think it's too big of a deal if they're drawn very, if it's a little rough. But yeah, there we go. Okay, now all I have to do for the pillars themselves is to just add a bit of some cracks to it and some bumps. It feels a little bit more kind of worn in. Oh yeah, we were watching like Night at the Museum yesterday for a bit. I don't know, we were just kind of checking out old Ben Stiller movies, just like checking to see like, oh, you know, like what are they like, you know, the old Ben Stiller movies. So we like checked out Night at the Museum. It's not bad. I feel like it's like a very classic kind of movie. I feel like it's more of a movie to watch maybe during like the fall time or winter time, but it's not bad. There we go. Died in 2024. Oh well. I'm hopefully, you know, you get, I don't know if you get a new cat or anything, but oh, well, thank you. My name is Josh. I'm the host for our live streams here on Wing Canvas. So, yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, then feel free to keep following us. We go live every week, so if you kind of enjoy the live streams here, you can feel free to follow along, and we kind of go over a lot of different things like tips and tricks for how to draw and everything. So yeah, it's a good time here. Everybody is super nice and friendly, and we have our mods, different mods. Today is Jaren. Other times we have like Zipporah. And I think we got a new mod. I think his name is, or their name is Kane. I don't know. I just see what it's based on the Discord whenever Faye asks like, oh, is anybody okay to sub? I saw someone, his name was Kane, so I don't know. I keep reading it as Kanye though. So I'm always like Kane or Kanye. And I'm like, but it's like, it's not Kanye, it's Kane. Oh, is it Kyla? Oh, okay. on on Discord it just says Kane, or maybe I read it wrong. Does it say Kayla? I don't know, but yeah, I read that and I was like, Kanye. Kane is her username. Ah, okay. That checks out. kind of, I guess, in a moment where I'm just like, time's running a little bit tight, so I'm trying to finish as much as I can for this. Put the snake over here. Yes. Oh, you only draw in MS Paint? Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, there's a lot of really amazing artists who only draw in MS Paint, and it always blows my mind because it's like, how are you even able to like draw on MS Paint? That is cool. There we go. And then, okay, last one, last thing here. We're almost done. Oh, okay, I think I can take the grid away. So here's what we have for the drawing. And then we have Medusa, and I think that's it. And then we're like pretty much done. And one of our computer classes is very difficult. Basically torturing. I can't really see what I'm doing when I'm drawing on a computer. Yeah, I mean, I would say like I feel like for drawing, I do think that like MS Paint might not be the most optimal. So I feel like if you're able to get, you know, maybe, you know, like Krita or even Ibis Paint. I've heard of some students kind of actually prefer Ibis Paint because they like the UI, they like the flow of it. So I don't know, if you're kind of more into, if you want to try out different softwares, I would kind of recommend it. There's a lot of different painting softwares out there that don't have to be MS Paint. So I don't know, like I think you can give different softwares, painting softwares, drawing softwares a shot, and you can get like some pretty cool, pretty neat options, and you can try them out because they all do something a little bit differently. The only part I don't really like too much of doing symmetry tools, like especially if you're using a texture brush, it can kind of sometimes make your drawing feel like fake in a sense because you're using a symmetry tool. The texture ends up being symmetrical, and then that kind of like ruins it a little bit. Also, the reason why I'm drawing this on a different background is because this way I can, when I put in Cerberus, I can kind of put it in a I can kind of like carve it out and not have it affect the drawing too much. I don't have a phone or an iPad. Yeah, so like you can, so the great thing about Ibis Paint and Krita, for example, that's kind of what I'm using here. If you're using Krita or Ibis Paint or even like I think the Autodesk Sketchbook, they don't utilize an iPad. So you can still draw with a mouse if you want to kind of like, if that's the only way that you can draw, you could stick to that. You don't need to rely on an iPad or even a drawing tablet to draw. Does it make it much harder? Yeah, it's way harder to draw with a mouse, but I think if what you can only get is a mouse and a drawing software, then I think that that's still okay. I think it's like maybe better than Microsoft Paint, unless you feel like you want to stick to Microsoft Paint. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of free software out there that you can always try out, and it doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't really matter if you have an iPad or tablet, because not everybody has a tablet or a drawing tablet or an iPad. So yeah. Playlist is 3,000 videos. Oh my gosh. From here, Progo, Broken Draw, and Force. Do you think I will go through all this year? I mean, that is a very ambitious kind of set list there. I mean, you could try. That's pretty cool that you want to go for it though, but yeah, it might be a bit on the ambitious side. But yeah. I mean, you never know. But yeah, it might be a bit on the ambitious side of things. Where's the rough? Oh, here's the rough. Okay, I know, what was it? Someone suggested, oh, put Cerberus maybe on a side that where we won't be obstructed by the light. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. I will try my best to see if I can get that there. If I can't though, we'll just have to leave that Cerberus covered by the spear, because yeah, it's a little, I don't know, we're running out of time, and I feel like if I were to do that, I would have to kind of figure it out somehow. So, but yeah, I like the idea though. It makes sense. Makes sense to not have it be kind of obstructed by the sphere though. So it's a pretty good suggestion. Kind of drawing the underside of the eyes rather than drawing the eyes themselves. So it's more kind of shaped by the lighting, the sense of lighting. I don't know how that'll turn out. Maybe it'll look a little too real, quote unquote real, for for this drawing. Because then what ends up always happening with sometimes drawings is that if you go one way and then the rendering is too real, and then the coloring and whatnot is not too real, then it's like, ooh, oh no. Okay, I'm gonna try to position it maybe like here. The other Cerberus head. I'm gonna maybe put actually, oh, maybe I'll put it here instead, so I have a little bit of space for the head. Unfortunately, it's still gonna be obstructed just due to the composition. So it's not so much as like, oh, you know, not being unable to draw it, but it's more of like, oh, compositionally, I'm a little bit stuck with what I can work with. So I'm just gonna like do what's at kind of my disposal in terms of like what I can get away with. So I feel like this is kind of close. The head does feel maybe a little bit on the smaller side, but I don't know, that could be cool. Okay, there we go. We have a little bit of like some interesting shading and style changes here going on. I think maybe I'll just do one more where I think just going to color a little bit of this, just so that there's some difference in shading. Not too much, but just enough so that there's a little bit of some contrast in the forms. That was pretty good. There we go. I think, man, you know what? Okay, we're gonna do it. I didn't really want to shade in the area around Medusa's head, but I think after seeing it, I'm like, you know, I feel like we should. It'll just make a nice contrast, sense of contrast with the forms that are there. Okay, there we go. Just kind of color in these crater areas. Yeah, so I built this whole scenery here, by the way, for anybody who's joining a little bit late with 1-point perspective. So the way that it works is just that anything that is pointing or disappearing goes towards that vanishing point right here down the middle. And yeah, we kind of constructed it based on that. So yeah, here it is. Here is our final scenery. So sorry it took a bit of time, but yeah, I think it turned out not too bad. Looks pretty good. Might make a shape here. Give me a sec. Let's put I want to give it a little bit of like a frame. That looks pretty good. We'll fill, and then I'm just gonna draw it out. Give it a little bit of like some framing to it. There. Yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of some some shading and some framing to help with the drawing a little bit, just for composition. But yeah, I guess this will be kind of it. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun drawing with me and learning a little bit about perspective. But yeah, so I guess a little bit of like a very quick overview is that when it comes to 1-point perspective, just draw a grid for yourself, kind of like similar to the one that I have here. So for example, this is the grid that I was using to help guide all my drawings. So you can kind of see the base of the statues, kind of the alignment of like these pocket areas at the top, even like the carpet, they're all going towards this vanishing point right here in the middle. So once you have that, anything that's vertical basically is perfectly straight. Anything that is like the side planes or the top side planes or the bottom planes, they would all be angling towards the center line. But other than that, there is no kind of like complexity with the verticals, which is what kind of makes 1-point perspective very easy to try out and use. And again, as always, if you want to find the notes for this live stream on how to do 1-point perspective, how it all works, that's all going to be posted onto Discord afterwards. So, oh, actually, I'm gonna put that. Oh, Krita's so weird. Krita's weird where it's like you can't put things into folders unless it's opened, which is really bizarre. But here's the lesson notes on kind of how 1-point perspective works, to set it up and everything. Just to try it out and practice it, you don't have to draw a full environment or a super complicated environment to learn 1-point perspective. I would say practice this first, and once you have this, then you can try out planning out a room. I would say keep it very simple, very like straightforward, and then once you have it, you can then you can like slowly add more details, slowly make it more complicated, but start with something relatively kind of manageable, I would say. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, I will see you guys next time. So I'm gonna read off just like the closing statements. I'm gonna leave this here. But yeah, thank you all for joining us, and I'm just gonna read the closing statements and then we'll end stream. So if this is your first time joining us, my name is Josh. This is unfortunately the end of our stream, but hopefully you guys had a good time learning about 1-point perspective. If you missed the stream, that's okay though. The VOD will go up shortly after, so you can watch from the beginning and follow along with the lesson if you'd like. But if you don't know who we are Winged Canvas, and we are a school of illustration and as well as a YouTube channel. So YouTube is where we offer all our short form videos as well as live streams where we kind of teach you free art tips and advices. But if you want a further deep dive, especially if you want that personalized feedback on your artwork or portfolio guidance, that is exactly what we do in our mentorship and VIP programs that you can find on our website. And if you didn't know, we stream twice a week to help you learn art fundamentals. But if you want that accountability, personalized feedback, and career guidance, you can become a member. And if you enjoyed this stream, be sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know when we go live the next time we're up, and you'll also know what topics we're streaming the next time. So if you have that, if you're subscribed and you rang that notification bell, then you will know that we are doing a bunch of background related topics for our live streams, just like how for the next stream it will be me on Saturday, August 8th, where I will be going over how to choose colors for your backgrounds. And then on Monday, we're going to be doing 2-point perspective, drawing a 3D interior. So that's what we're going to be doing. I think maybe I'm just going to go for it. We're going to do a garage band. So you can maybe let me know what type of objects you want in the garage band once that post goes up on our YouTube community page. But then after that, we have a new instructor or a new member of our team who's going to be showing you guys how to do Blender, which is going to be really, really cool. And then Faye, as well as other guests, are going to be showing up, showing you guys how to do some more background stuff. And I'll be showing up again at the end of August for 3-point perspective. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what we have laid out, and you can kind of see this all planned out if you are subscribed and if you are just notified of what we're doing next. And if you haven't followed us already, be sure to follow us on social media. Discord is the best place to kind of keep up to date as to what we're doing. But we are also on Instagram, where these demos and notes will be uploaded. But the notes themselves will be uploaded onto Discord. The demo will still go on Instagram, but the notes themselves will go on Discord. So yeah, hope you guys had a good one and enjoyed the stream. Hope you have a good rest of the day and a good week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.